Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook.
All right, thanks a lot, Ken, and thank you for tuning in to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm Rich Walsh. I'll be joined by Andrew Fillipponi in just a matter of seconds from the 93.7, the Fan Cam, over in Green Tree. Pony's standing by. And Pony, one of the things I really want to get into, and I want people, encourage people to call. Phone lines are open, 412-575-2600 on the Bordas and Bordas hotline. You know, everyone wants this question answered. Will Ben play? I think he's going to. I think Ben is better without practice than anyone they have on the roster. Obviously, we saw what happened last year. You know, I see your point, and we talked about it earlier about maybe rest him. It's a long season. You want the end game. But I say play him. I want to play him. I want to win right now.
Well, this is not their Super Bowl. By the way, Richie, I got to give a shout out to my wife who's watching at home. It's her birthday. And she said to me before I came in, her ideal birthday wasn't cake and ice cream. It wasn't a romantic date. It was watching the two of us on the nightly sports call. And she said, I really want to hear from Pete in Squirrel Hill before the night is over. So that is my call to Pete, that would really, yes. That was her request. It was a long-distance dedication to Pete in Squirrel Hill. So,
happy birthday, Amanda.
Thank you. To answer your question, though, you know, this is not their Super Bowl. This is one game. They're 8-0. They're playing a Cincinnati team that, when they faced Baltimore's defense, scored only 3 points. And they might not have Joe Mixon for this game. So I'm looking at the big picture. I know that's a dangerous thing to do in the NFL. If it was just no practice, if it was just the COVID list, I would be more likely to say, let's see what Ben's got. But the knee injuries are enough for me to say, what the heck are we doing here? He's not 100%. He hasn't been able to get normal rehab because he's going in at weird times. It's not ideal for him. It's not perfect. You can beat the Bengals at home without Ben Roethlisberger. So that's what I would do. They were winning home games against bad teams with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges last year at quarterback. They're better now than they were a year ago. That's what I would do, Richie. Rest the guy. It's not worth him suffering a major knee injury because you want to beat Cincinnati so badly.
Here's the way I'm looking at it, Pony. You basically have a 2.5 game lead on the Ravens right now. You don't want to give them an opportunity to kind of get back into this, and this is a game that you should win. These are games that you should win. So if the Steelers would lose with, say, a Mason Rudolph or a Josh Dobbs, they would fall to 8-1. You know the Ravens are going to beat the Patriots. The Patriots are struggling right now. The Patriots, then the Ravens would improve to, what, 7-2. Now they would be a game back, and they would have that game in a couple weeks, and all of a sudden the Ravens would move past the Steelers potentially in a tiebreaker. That's the way I look at it. This division always comes down to, what, the final games and that game against the Ravens. And I would like for the Steelers to have a 2-game cushion instead of a 1-game cushion.
Well, so would I. But I didn't expect Ben to be around Vance McDonald when he had COVID-19, and I didn't expect him to hurt his knees against Dallas. Listen, here's my point on their overall quarterback situation. If they can't win one game with a backup quarterback against a 2-5-1 team at home, well, then they need to get rid of both backup quarterbacks this offseason and bring somebody else in. If they don't trust Mason Rudolph or Josh Dobbs, my preference would be Dobbs because he can run it, and the Bengals stink against the run. If you can't win one game, I'm not talking about going a full season like last year or even a half season or even a quarter season. One game at home against a bad team, well, then everything Art Rooney, Kevin Colbert, and Mike Tomlin has said about Mason Rudolph is total garbage because he should be able, in their words, to win a game like this on Sunday.
Well, here's what's concerning. The Steelers are pretty much one-dimensional. They don't have a good running game. And if you're putting a quarterback in there that's not Ben Roethlisberger, we see the difference now. Ben is the difference maker from last year to this year. They're not going to be able to run the ball because they just haven't been able to. I'm not sold on, despite what Pomp thinks, I'm not sold on James Conner yet. I don't like the running back situation right now. And the game would be a lot tougher. But you're right. They should be able to beat a team like this with that defense. The Bengals shouldn't score many points. And I do like what you said. I like the point that you made earlier when you talked about Matthew Stafford struggling when he didn't practice for a week. So that could happen again here. So maybe it is the right decision, but I always like putting your best people out there.
I mean, Richie,
Ben
what
is
if,
the best.
So even if Roethlisberger can't get out there for a walkthrough on Saturday, which he still might not, that might not happen, you'd still play him with not even one step onto a practice field the entire week. You'd still say, let's do it. Let's see what we've got with him.
He's been in this organization for over a decade. Yes, I would. He knows the system like the back of his hand. I think 1 week off is fine. Think about what you do when you take a week off, when you do something like I take a week off of golf. I still feel like I can play pretty well. Maybe you're not as sharp, but this is the only thing that I can compare it to right now. But, I mean, he doesn't practice on Wednesdays anyways. And he barely practices on Thursday. They just go over the game plan. He knows the Bengals better than probably some of his own teammates. So I don't think if he doesn't practice at all and shows up to the stadium on Sunday, I would still start the guy.
Well, I would in normal circumstances if it was a playoff game or if it was a normal game. But the knee issue is concerning to me because I don't want him limping around out there. He takes one awkward hit, and now your season's completely down the tubes because you were trying with everything you've got to beat a bad Cincinnati team.
Well, I guess the big question is, what does Amanda think?
She's more concerned about West Virginia and TCU on Saturday. She wants to see them keep climbing, whatever the heck Neil Brown says. She wants to see them continue their climb.
All right,
That's her big thing right now.
We get the phone lines. They're jam-packed, and guess who's on? Pete from Squirrel Hill. He's going to be coming up next, so Amanda and Pony get their wish. Coming back in 2 minutes.